Hi, my name is Claudia.
My name is Shania. Here's our analysis on My Calvin's campaign and their objectification of women in their advertisements. This is not the first time Calvin Klein has faced criticism over an ad campaign. Calvin Klein is a well-known brand famed for their sexy lingerie lines. The company has made its fortune and gained national attention in the fashion industry by promoting provocative photos of models and actors looking sexy in their Calvins. This company has used its knowledge on the millennial culture to brand its products. Calvin Klein has been targeting teenagers and young adults to convey a feeling of acceptance. This has led to the launch of My Calvin's campaign. Meet the My Calvin's campaign led by Kendall Jenner and Justin Bieber, along with other famous people, telling the audience what they like to do in their Calvins. The brand wanted to gather artists that sparks cultural conversation. The use of these iconic figures in their ads has provided the company with a lot of publicity and a large fan base. The ethical issue that needs to be brought up with companies such as Calvin Klein isn't just strictly the visual representation in ads, but also the message they are sending its target consumers.
The My Calvin's campaign wanted to put together a compilation of provocateurs to create content that encourages its target audience to engage with the brand. In addition to Kendall Jenner and Justin Bieber, Calvin Klein also revealed side-by-side billboard photos of Clara Kristen and Fetty Wap. On one side, Kristen was posing provocatively with the phrase, "I seduce in my Calvins," while Fetty Wap said, "I make money in my Calvins." According to Heidi Zak, CEO of Third Love, Calvin Klein ads highlights a dated gender stereotype that men are breadwinners while women are sex objects. This ad placement implies that women are good for seduction while men are out there making money. We live in a society where more women are earning their degrees, voting, have taken on high-level positions. This is not the 50s or 60s anymore. Times have changed, therefore this portrayal of women as seductive pieces do not represent how women have evolved throughout the years. After hearing customers' reactions, Heidi Zak had requested a petition to get Billboard taken down. Furthermore, Zak sent a letter to the CEO of Calvin Klein, Stephen B. Schiffman, expressing the disrespect that its consumers felt on the portrayal of gender morals happening in this specific My Calvin's ad. Clara Kristen also mimicked a controversial upskirt shot that is shown in pornography websites. While Kristen and the photographer both support this idea, the National Center on Sexual Exploitation petitioned for Calvin Klein to cancel the campaign because this glamorizes sexual harassment. According to the Huffington Post, some argue that this promotes sexual empowerment because women are allowed to express their sexuality. However, this is far from it, because it objectifies the women. This campaign can be compared to a soft porn and is another way for men to use women as something to satisfy their sexual thirst.
One of the American Advertising Federation's principles calls for advertisers to treat their consumers fairly based on the nature of the audience to whom the ads are directed and the nature of the product or service advertised. Calvin Klein is supposedly targeting young adults, but they're sending a negative message to younger women that they are meant to be sex objects instead of equalizing the playing field with men. The limitation of this principle is that it doesn't specify gender stereotype and focuses more on the age of consumers. We have found other case and public relations campaign that rebranded themselves to move away from provocative and sexist advertisements. According to Bullock, American Girl aimed to turn selfies into Uzis by connecting girls with each other and families. It's not just about looking pretty in a selfie. This is a counterculture social media push away from selfies to recognize people around them. It's to celebrate girls and their strengths together and the opportunities they have today. In addition to American Girl, Colin also mentioned how Abercrombie & Fitch launched a redefined brand that promotes individuality and diversity. The company has decided to stray away from the controversial reputation they had in the early 2000s, in which they would photograph half-naked young women flirting with half-naked young men, portraying them as the cool kids. They have photographed these young women in provocative poses similar to the Calvin Klein ads. There are no more polos moose logos, short shorts, and half-naked models plastered everywhere. They have made a big change by featuring slouchy sweaters, silky slip dresses, and more relatable images. The company wanted to build on that nostalgic new vibe, but still be considered fashion-forward without having to portray the only for cool kids reputation that made them a controversial brand in the past.
If only Calvin Klein had said, I crush my goals, succeed, finish deadlines, work out, etc. in my Calvins. We want to keep the campaign because the brand has always had these products. However, instead of objectifying women, we can empower them by saying something they have accomplished in their Calvins. It could be anything like I got into my college of choice, graduated, working out, finished deadlines, etc. It could be many things that showcase women as goal-oriented and as ambitious as men. If only Calvin Klein had used different terminology in a way that could celebrate not only men, but women as well. Gender advertising has become highly controversial when it doesn't need to be. Women are being portrayed in a provocative manner and being seen as only good for one thing, sex. The truth is that women are just as inspirational and successful as men, whether it is within gender advertising or out in the world. If men can make money in their Calvins, then women can crush goals in their Calvins.